Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers get huge news after Roman Wilson was carted off practice field. The Pittsburgh Steelers received a very favorable outcome on what initially appeared to be a scary injury to wide receiver Roman Wilson. The Steelers rookie had to be carted off the field midway through Tuesday morning's practice at St. Vincent College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Wilson reportedly hurt his ankle as Pittsburgh's offense was practicing a jet sweep. Despite warning signs of a potentially serious injury, Wilson was able to escape relatively unscathed. Wilson's ankle injury is considered week to week, and the expectation is that he will be fully healthy in time for the Steelers' season opener. The Steelers picked Wilson out of Michigan in the third round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Wilson was the top receiving threat on the reigning national champion Wolverines. The 23-year-old has impressed so far and is expected to carve out a role in his debut season in Pittsburgh. Last season's top Steelers wideout George Pickens has reportedly been butting heads with the coaching staff. Whether or not Pickens remains Pittsburgh's WR1 of the future, having Wilson healthy for additional wideout depth could prove vital for the team this coming year. Can't break any records right now, Corey Trice Jr. taking things slow in recovery from knee injury. When the Pittsburgh Steelers took to the field for their first padded practice of the 2023 edition of training camp, then rookie CB Corey Trice Jr. injured his knee, thereby robbing him of his entire rookie season. Fast forward to Tuesday, when the Steelers strapped on the pads for the first padded practice of 2024, and Trice was back on the field at St. Vincent College. Just like the Steelers have been with QB Russell Wilson's calf strain, the team has eased Trice back into practice. Have they been too cautious with him? Steeler Depot's Matthew Marksey asked that question on Monday, but Trice gave a glimpse into his mindset on Tuesday. "We just taking things slow and just continue to build," Trice said after practice per video from the Steelers LiveX account. "We move forward. No step backward. We taking things slow right now, just not really trying to rush anything. 'Cause I can't break any records right now. I gotta get to preseason. Both the NFL season and the offseason are marathons, not sprints. So it only makes sense to take things slowly to get Corey Trice Jr. back fully. The Steelers don't need to rush Trice back. They added multiple corners this offseason in Dante Jackson and Anthony Averett. They have players who can contribute while Trice recovers. Yet it would still benefit everyone for Trice to be healthy and compete for the top depth spot at minimum. He had a good spring in 2023 before suffering the injury, so there is hope that he will be a productive member of the secondary. Trice also rehabbed from an ACL injury previously, and he feels like that gives him a leg up in this recovery process. He knows how to come back from a knee injury like he sustained at Purdue. He's good with approaching his recovery slowly and steadily. If Corey Trice Jr. recovers fully as it appears he has, he could certainly help improve a position that was viewed as a weak spot at the start of the offseason. With Russell Wilson unable to practice for the start of training camp, it's been the Justin Fields show for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fields hasn't looked like a superstar, but he has been as advertised. He's made big throws down the field and created some plays with his legs, but it's apparent that he still has aspects of his game that need work. When Wilson is healthy, he will almost certainly be the starter again, but former NFL quarterback Steve Beuerlein believes that would be a mistake by the Steelers. Beuerlein played quarterback in the NFL from 1987 to 2003, bouncing between multiple teams and making the Pro Bowl as a member of the Carolina Panthers in 1999. Taking to Twitter recently, Beuerlein commented on an article from here at Steelers Depot that spoke about Wilson most likely still being the starter once Week 1 comes. "I am not sure who will be QB1 for Steelers in Week 1, but I know that Justin Fields gives them the best chance to compete for a division title and make a playoff run," Beuerlein wrote. Steelers coaches know this too. "I think Fields will be in comeback player of the year conversation as well." Beuerlein has previously talked about how much he believes in Fields' potential, being one of his strongest supporters. It appears he's willing to double down on that prediction here, but some of his information is a little off. If the Steelers coaches thought Fields gave them the best chance to win, then he'd be starting. They have no ties to Wilson after this year, so they don't have any reason to try to placate him by making him the starter. Mike Tomlin wants to win football games, and if a player isn't good enough, he'll let them know. Also, the criteria for a player to win Comeback Player of the Year changed this offseason, so Fields is now ineligible to win the award this year. The rule was just changed though, so Buerlein can be forgiven for not knowing. It would be more accurate to say that Fields could be the most improved player this year, at least with Buerlein's line of thinking. For that to happen though, Fields would need to play in more than just a gadget role, and that might be unlikely. If Wilson cannot remain healthy this year, then Fields will see the field a lot, but that might not be the best thing for him. Fields has struggled in the finer aspects of the game, and he probably needs time to sit and learn behind Wilson to reach his full potential. Throwing him out of the frying pan and into the fire might just hurt his development more. Chicago wasn't a great situation for him, but he was also part of the problem there. Luckily, Wilson's injury seems to be minor, and he should be back soon. Fields has talked about what a great mentor Wilson has been to him, and if that is the case, then there's no reason to rush him to start. Let him learn as much as he can, and then if Wilson is struggling and the team is losing, put him in. Buerlein does have a lot of experience in the league, so maybe his opinion is correct, and Fields will give the Steelers their best chance to win. It's not like Wilson has been the same player over the past few years, and if he continues to struggle, the Steelers might be forced to turn to Fields. The situation will become clearer as camp progresses and the regular season gets closer. How soon can Roman Wilson get back on field for Steelers? The Steelers suffered their second injury of note during training camp, with Roman Wilson going down with an ankle. The first injury, of course, was Russell Wilson injuring his calf during the conditioning test. But Russell Wilson is already getting back into action, at least, participating in practice yesterday. It's not clear when Roman Wilson will be back in action, but it sounds like not incredibly soon. It sounds like the Steelers expect to get him back in time for the start of the regular season, but that's a long way away. How much sooner could he return before that? Because let's face it, if Wilson is sitting out until the start of the regular season, he isn't playing much. At least he won't have much of a role initially, considering he has barely done anything up to this point. After looking like he could make a run at starting the opener, now it seems he'll have to be patient. Wilson's ankle sprain will obviously limit his practice participation for some time, and rookies who don't practice don't play. The sooner he can return, the better chance he has of being a meaningful early contributor as a rookie. But the Steelers also need to be cautious here, because they can make things worse if he returns too early. Roman Wilson could be an important player later on this year even if he doesn't contribute much early. And yes, the Steelers believe they should contend for a Super Bowl this year, so they want him available. To his credit, Wilson was building off 2 strong training camp days before going down yesterday early in practice. I'm sure the coaches were looking forward to seeing work in pads and if he could stack good days. Now his progress will be postponed for likely at least a couple of weeks. He can't get back soon enough, both for his own benefit and the team's. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Roman Wilson? Leave your opinion in the comments.